Welcome back to Unbottled, our second episode where Denis and I continue our conversation about building Kadeya. And today we're going to really focus on the product. So, first, I wanted to open with a flashback. I remember when we all agreed that we just had to build the machine, it had to do everything. We'd been tinkering with the different subsystems. And I think that was one of the first things you did when you had joined full time as chief product officer. You were like, let's get this done. Do you remember? Can you talk us through everything you did in just a matter of weeks?
I think overall it's a philosophy about how you get a product out there. You know, a lot of engineers, they want to build the perfect product. So they're going to spend a lot of time thinking about it, writing all the requirements, very detailed. And so I was like, okay, let's assemble what we have. It's going to be quick and dirty. It's not going to be perfect, but at least we have something that works. Make sure we don't reinvent what has been already developed and focus on what needs to be developed. So putting product requirements in a few days and just launch it, and also like get the right partners with us. Mm-hmm. So we I think we can talk about Kickmaker, which is a great partner of us.
Yep.
Helping us building this. It's an engineering company here in the US and in France. And so I called them and I was like, we need to do that in like 8 to 10 weeks. And they were like, it's not possible, but we're going to help you. We're going to try. Yeah. So I like the spirit, having partners that are like, you guys are crazy, but we're going to try to do it with you. And so this is very important in how you build a system from scratch, where you have to like make sure you have the right partners that are ready to follow you and build the thing with you, even if it sounds crazy at the beginning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll also add 2 observations in retrospect. One was having you join full time, I think, empowered you to say, like, we can take this risk.
Yeah.
And I can take this risk.
Yeah.
Whereas
totally.
if we, up till that point, we'd worked with consulting or contract R&D teams who were doing everything very detailed, everything very well documented, but they never took that big leap.
Yeah.
Just putting the machine out there.
Yeah. And this is all about entrepreneurship is taking risks. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't take risk, you're in a big company or you're in a system that is not innovating at all. So innovation is risky by definition. And so you have to take the risk to just go out there and build the thing, which is difficult for engineers because they want to build the best thing possible all the time. So of course, it's what we call the demo unit. It's not perfect, but it's working. It shows that the product can exist in the way we imagine it. So it's a great cornerstone for our product journey.
Absolutely. And then the second piece, I think, to your point about bringing Kickmaker in, was finding a contract team who was willing to do something big and scary.
Yeah.
And take on a project that wasn't certain.
Yeah. And I think it's all about the spirit of that company, which is very entrepreneurial like spirit. And so, yeah, that was very good to have them with us to help us there.
Yeah, agreed. I'm glad that you brought them in. So I'm curious, from the engineer's point of view, what's it like building a physical system from scratch when it hasn't been done before?
Yeah, we touched a little bit on this. I think it's just, define minimum product requirements that allow it to build something that is, halfway there, and put it in hands of customers, users, test it, and learn from there. That's a starting point. And when you're into this loop of like product iteration, mm-hmm. it's just gonna go up and up into covering all the product features and being able to meet the final like vision of what the product needs to be.
Given that I'm the person who kind of has that product vision, I've had it right for over 5 years. in my mind, I can see it. It's obvious, right? And I think why we work well together and complement each other, we've joked about this, is, I'll be like, well, in 5 years or in 10 years, we're going to be doing X, Y, Z. And you're like, great. So what are we doing tomorrow? How are we going to get there? I'm curious, honestly, just for myself, what is the muscle that you have or the skill that you've developed that allows you to say, okay, Manuela, I see where you want to go. Let me now translate that into something real today.
I think it's just like working with people like you. You're not the first one.
But, okay, what is this person like me? What does that
people
mean?
who have a vision and don't really are pushing for the vision and are counting on the team to make it work and to make it happen. And the first CEO like this I worked with, I was like, this guy is crazy.
Okay.
And because I was coming from like bigger companies where everything is like super detailed and organized and sought out, and he was pushing us to the next frontier all the time. And at the beginning he's crazy, and then I learned to like interpret or translate whatever he was saying into like step-by-step things to get there, and push myself also to go faster and get it done and all that. So I think that's something that works well between us, because you come with an idea and I'm like, wow, it's going to be difficult. And then it just get into my head into like smaller steps to get there. And then, yeah, why not? So yeah, that's the way it works.
So is it helpful when I'm throwing out these crazy ideas, or are you finding, as I learn, to collaborate and communicate with you?
I think it's helpful. It just needs to happen in a setting where people are aware it's okay.
Yeah.
Once the company is like 100 people, you cannot do that in front of 100 people, because all the people are working on everyday things are like, what are we doing?
Right. What is she talking about today?
Yeah. But yeah.
So from the early R&D, what were the biggest unknowns, and how did we start solving them? Let's share with the world out there.
Yeah, I think, washing bottles. So, and it's like food and beverage. So I think big unknown is like, can we wash it in a way that is actually compatible with all the standards? And that was the biggest unknown and the biggest difficulty, in my opinion, that we solved by using an existing washer from one of the top world commercial washers company. That was the big one. And I think the other one is the other challenge. Like, we focus a lot on the station because it's kind of what the people are interested about and can see. But there is a lot of the ecosystem behind the scene with the software and all the data we collect, and users and payments and how we manage the business on the back end. All those things are, involve developing new things.
Yep.
Not new in the sense of invention, but new things for Kadeya. And this is really some of the biggest unknowns. Yeah.
Agreed. You talked about the moment when we said, let's just use an existing solution for the dishwash or the bottle wash, and working with a very well-regarded global partner on that. I think that was a key pivot, and like, this changes everything kind of moment. And what I've learned the last few years and working with you is understanding the kind of build versus buy fork in the road. And what I'm really proud of, and what I'd love to hear from you, is how do you think about that, those two options, right? When does it make sense to build and do it ourselves in-house? When does it make sense to say, look, there's a solution out there, it works, let's just integrate that? And then you talked a little bit about the difference between invention versus innovation.
Yeah.
So how does
totally
that concept play?
So I think my default position is, you don't want to build.
Yeah.
You want to buy and integrate into a system.
Yep.
And so the difficulty becomes integration into the system, which is very challenging in many ways. So my default position is let's buy it, but sometimes it just doesn't exist.
Yep.
So they are part of the system. We talked about the washer that exists, but how to store bottles in a certain way so the robot can pick up and move them inside the machine just doesn't exist. Nobody did that before. It's not really complicated, but it's a problem to solve, and you got to put engineers on that. While, other things really exist. Like, you don't need to create a screen, right? We need a screen on the machine. We don't need to create that. It's an obvious buy.
People know how to accept a credit card or Apple Pay.
Yeah, exactly. Payment system exists. You don't want to reinvent that. I've been surprised by the business tools we want to develop to manage the customers and the dashboards and optimize the revenue of the machines and service them and all these things. I thought it was existing out there. It actually exists in like modules.
Yep.
So we are working on building what we call the Kadeya Portal, where we can find all those tools. Some of them will be buy, some of them will be new that we develop for that business, and everything will be integrated into a portal that is new. So yeah, it's all about systems. Again, we're talking about system, about MIT in a previous episode. I think it's all about seeing the system and integrating all the things together.
Absolutely. And one of the questions that we're talking about, right, is like, how has our technology and our model evolved? I would also add, in terms of our mission, we want to stay focused, right? We are delivering really high quality, convenient, low cost hydration solutions that, by the way, don't have waste. But hearing you talk about the opportunities that exist in this like Kadeya Portal, there's times where, Ali Rose, our director of marketing, and I talk about like the future of retail. And that gets me really excited. So I'd be curious, and then we could maybe bring this around to the product values that you've developed. But what are those moments where I come to you and I'm like, let's be the future of retail. We'll be the next convenience store. How do you think about saying yes, maybe, or no, or later, versus like, yeah, okay, we need that now. And then, maybe that ties into the product values.
Yeah, there's a lot about intuition in that. Like, does that make sense? And sometimes it's not data driven at all. Does that make sense? And when does that make sense? So it's a difficult question to answer, actually. I think it's more like, at the moment, does that make sense to talk about it? Yep. And when we talk about it, kind of roadmap it in my head and understand how we make it happen.
And I'll briefly add as well, like, there's a lot of questions that are still questions.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And they come up over and over again. I'll be like, what about future of retail? And you're like, yeah, maybe. And then a month later, what about future of retail?
It's like a little bit of, when we talk about improvisation, I don't know if you've been in an improv class, but it's all...
With dance, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about yes, but. You don't want to say no. You want to say yes. That makes sense. But here are the parameters that are driving our business right now or in the future. So this is why maybe it's for later, or let's do it now because it's completely aligned with what I want to do. So it's all about being open to, and it's back to episode 1 about MIT and how you learn to work with type A people. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. You learn to say yes, but.
Yeah.
So you got the conversation going and actually coming to some agreements about what's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be curious because you introducing our product values was a really important moment.
Yeah. So the product values are very, very short term. So the problem with the startups is that we need to do everything at the same time. We need to have like a perfect product that solves a perfect problem, that's making money. And so it's basically impossible. This is why it's very difficult. So you need to like stage it. So our product values right now are focused around the success of the product with the first customers and users. And so to be successful, it needs to be easy to use. The beverage needs to be very good. And this thing needs to be reliable. Not only the machine, but the whole system. Talking about software and all the apps work and
the maintenance.
Yeah, you don't want to spend like 10 seconds waiting for the screen to show you the next page and all that stuff. So, so this needs to drive our decisions for the next 12 to 18 months. So an example is that if someone comes to me with a component of the BOM that is half the cost, but we don't know if that works.
And BOM is bill of materials.
Yeah, bill of materials, sorry.
Yeah,
and we look at the cost very closely, but it's not one of the product value yet.
Yep.
So if it's reliable, the one we have, and the new one is an unknown or known to be not that reliable but cost effective, I'm like, forget about the cost for now.
Yep.
We keep the one we have. Let's keep the idea of the new component that is cheaper for when cost optimization will be part of our, focus and energy. So it's all about like product values. It's all about like focusing on the right 2 to 3 things that need to happen in the next few months. So every decision is, taken using that scope.
It's been actually incredibly helpful for me on the fundraising side of things as well. It shows investors that we have a framework.
Yeah.
Just, okay, they sat down and they decided how are they going to weigh what's worth doing. At the same time, I think investors, especially if they don't know hardware, underestimate or undervalue how important product values are.
Yeah.
And so they look at where we want to be in 3 years and they're like, why aren't you doing that now? A specific example, right, is we use currently an off-the-shelf robotic arm. And you were very clear, we're going to use an off-the-shelf robotic arm. It's more expensive. It comes from China. We're going to have to pay a tariff. We're all aware of that. We look at the bill of material and it's the single most expensive component.
Yeah.
But it's reliable.
Yeah, exactly.
We know it's going to work. In 2 to 3 years, we're going to build our own robotic arms. It's not rocket science.
No.
But it may fail.
Yeah.
And we can't risk that failure today. And so that was an amazing learning for me to say, oh, wow, okay, so this is how the product values actually manifest. So that then when I'm talking to investors and fundraising for this huge idea, I can explain, look, the bill of materials today is a little higher. We will bring it down. It's not a volume question.
No.
It's about then going through our product values and using that as the frame through which we make decisions.
Totally.
In terms of the early R&D, what were the biggest unknowns and how did we start solving them? And I'll add, and we can, we'll go back and forth on this. Some of the biggest unknowns, like I was dealing with them. Maybe I didn't deal with them the most effective or efficient way, but I'm proud of some of the unknowns that we crossed off the list. And then also as you've joined as, chief product officer and co-founder, what are the biggest unknowns that we've solved under your leadership, as well as where are we going next?
Yeah. I think you, before I joined, you did a great job, like being in a lot of customer environments and understanding what they need. So I think most of the unknowns right now are on the execution of the product.
Yeah.
And making sure we have something that fits the users. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Would you say, that's great to hear. Would you say that's, can you give us some examples? Like, is it front end type problems? Like, is it the button you push or the touch screen layout, or is it a little bit more fundamental?
Yeah, I think we solved most of the fundamental things. We have a an ideal customer that we all agree on, that we go after to sell our product.
Who, by the way, is excited about what we're doing and is coming to us.
Yeah, totally.
And finding us.
Inbound.
Yeah.
Which is pretty rare. So now the devil is in the detail. Yeah. Making sure we have something, again, that works, that is easy to use, and that people like to drink. So in terms of examples, I think we've been working a lot on how the interface on the machine needs to look like. We did one iteration, and we figured like there are still too many pages. It's still too complex. We're going to simplify this. It's really
for
like
ordering and checkout.
Yeah. For on the screen of the machine, when you choose your beverage and you get to checkout and all this, it's very simple already, but it's still a little bit too complicated. And so we set up a KPI about the number of seconds the interaction need to last. And so I think we are now at 30 something second, and we want to get into 20 second. Yeah. And we have a plan for that and all that. But
and 30 seconds is everything, right? It's coming up to the machine, self-identifying, choosing your beverage, paying, and receiving your bottle. Yeah. Which I'll add, I'm really proud of. It's faster than a vending machine.
Yeah, already. Totally. And that was a target. Of course, if someone comes to the machine and doesn't know the machine, it will last whatever the time takes for people to understand it. But we are in a working environment where people go to the machine every day. So this is their usual thing. So of course, we're working on, pre-order with your phone and all that, but also on the screen, 20 second, all included, needs to happen. So it's just an example that now it's all about the detail of how we get stickiness of the customers and the coming back to the machine without even thinking about it.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
I'm curious, going back to the product values, because actually you presented them, right, to the team.
Yeah.
We have all hands every 6 weeks. We all get down, we all work together and sit down and hash through goals, et cetera. So I remember you presented them and we were like, great, let's do it. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
What was your process for selecting those? Did you just make a huge list, throw a bunch of stuff on the wall?
No, it was completely organic. And it was actually a conversation with Bridget, you mentioned in the previous episode. She was our, I would say, customer-facing person at the beginning. And we were just on the phone talking about the pilots and what we learned. Mm-hmm. And we're like, oh, this didn't work, this worked. And people come back to the machine when this and this happens. And so we were like looking at the problems we had on the pilots, and, the beverage sometimes was not great because it was not, cold enough. And then one of the first machines had a screen that was very complicated to use, and so we're like, okay, it needs to be super, super simple. This machine, which was a prototype from another company, failed from time to time, and people were not coming back even when it was fixed. So it was like just that conversation, and I'm like, we should just define those things that they cannot happen again.
Yeah.
The next pilot or the next machine we put out there needs to work on those items. And we should probably like define this as the main thing we always like focus on, at least short term, like 6 months, 1 year. So this is how it happened, just by conversation. And I didn't do any like systematic work on making it happen. It's just like coming from the customer research and customer experience.
Yeah, which again is why it's so valuable to just put machines out there.
Yeah, totally.
So you actually see how the world reacts.
Yeah,
and gives you that data. It's great because when we do demos in the office with the station, we host investors and potential customers and just people who are excited. And they always say, on the front of the station right now, it says clean, crisp, and cold. And they come up, they're like, is it really going to be that? Is it clean, crisp, and cold? And I'm like, go for it. go get the best bottle of sparkling water you've ever had. And I can say that with full confidence. And people get that bottle and they're like, that's delicious. And it's not just that they say it's delicious, it's that they get multiple bottles.
Yeah. Totally.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like they're finishing that bottle and bringing it back and getting another one.
Yeah.
So I think having that clear-eyed focus has been amazing in how we build that product and align the whole team.
Yeah. And I think one of the key here is that people are actually not from the beverage industry.
Yeah.
Most of us are learning about the beverage industry, which for a lot of people, like, why are they doing this if they are not from the beverage industry? And actually, I figured that a lot of successful entrepreneurs are just getting into a new industry with eyes wide open.
Yep.
And really understand what the customer of now really wants, instead of being caught into, we've been doing that for the last 20 years and it works.
Yep.
And so it's really impactful to have people who are just learning about the industry, bringing all the things they learned from previous industries. I think that gives a lot of value on what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Yep, absolutely. And it allows us to ask a lot of questions about things that have just been assumed.
Exactly.
Forever.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
I'm curious when you think we're going to, like as a business and a company culture, we're going to turn that corner from maybe less eyes wide open people to more maybe like, born and raised in the traditional industry.
I don't know. I feel like even if we do that pivot at some point, we still need to be super open to the voice of the customer. So for me, in the future, our customer success organization is kind of central to our business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are the people we listen to every day.
Yep, agreed. So it's a little kind of meta to talk about this, and we're living it and people are watching and hearing us. Curious, let's talk about our co-founder dynamic. What works? Where do we challenge each other? And how that is beneficial to the business.
What do you think?
A few things. I think, it's helpful that we have that common background from business school. I think that builds already a layer of trust that maybe would take longer for other people to achieve.
Totally. I agree.
And a willingness to assume best intention from the other person.
Yeah.
But I think that's true for the whole team, right? We kind of bring people in like with Ali Rose and Liz and Bridget and Luis, right? Like, do we make mistakes each day? Absolutely. If we say the wrong thing, show up late, make a bad calculation, but it's that everyone's willing. We see everyone's willing and is putting in like the effort and doing their absolute best, and that when there's a mistake, it's just like an honest mistake.
Yeah.
And people also admit when they're wrong really quickly. I think you and I have joked a lot about being kind of low ego people. And I think going back to your earlier point about like being outsiders to the industry, like we're obsessed with the question and solving the problem.
Yeah.
And we're not obsessed with winning. I mean, it's not about the winning.
Yeah.
It's about solving the problem.
Yeah, totally. Or winning collectively as a company, not individually.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think another aspect of it is I cannot do your job, you cannot do mine.
Yeah.
So a lot of problems in co-founding teams is that, a CEO wants to be an engineer and tells the CTO how to do things. And everyone is kind of trying to help other people by being other people. I don't have the vision you have. I cannot talk about the company like you do, or you have this talent of, I tell you something in like 2 words and you turn it into a story.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you have that talent of turning things into stories, which I'm a man of a few words. I'm not doing that. I don't even know how it works in your brain to make it happen. So it's like, while the other way around is like you put a vision, which is something that is kind of impossible to do. And I'm like, okay, let's see how practically we're going to make it happen and when. And we talked about that, like breaking out in smaller steps. So I think this is why it's working, because we are open to talk about those things and pushing each other in different directions. So that works very well. And I agree about low ego situation. Yeah. I'm here to be successful with this company. That's all. I don't really care about, and I know also when I won't be the right guy for the job. It will happen at some point when it's too big for me. So I think all this is in our mind, and so makes the day-to-day easier.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that you think I'm good at telling stories, because I have historically not been like that. I would not have considered a strength even 5 years ago, finishing up at MIT. So that's nice to hear. It's definitely a muscle that I've been exercising.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways I think that I've grown. The other way, we were joking when we were talking to our lead investor for this round, Refashioned Ventures, and Brian and Lisa, don't want to bring you in without you being here to defend yourselves. But we were all laughing because it's like we know each other so well, and we sort of know our personalities so well and our roles, that like I can almost have a conversation in my own head now.
Yeah.
Of like, what would Denis say?
Yeah.
Which I think is good in the sense, like you've said earlier, when I bring you crazy ideas, you're like, maybe later. I've learned to start saying that to myself. Okay, we can hold that until next time, till 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. The flip side of it, I think, is I hope we don't fall too much into this average of the two of us.
I don't think it's an average.
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, we should ask people who are working with us every day, but I don't think it's an average.
So you don't worry that we will fall toward an average?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We'll see.
Because I don't want to like hold back my crazy ideas.
Don't hold back.
And I don't want you to hold back telling me that my ideas are crazy.
Yeah, no. Don't hold back, and I won't.
Deal. All right, we've got rapid fire. So what's one unsolved problem you're obsessed with right now?
So I talked about this earlier. It's the Kadeya Portal.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed about that because I think this is the key to have a hardware or physical intelligent business working well. I think key companies are doing that well, and we need to do it well.
And this portal will be the hub through which all software tools are integrated?
Yeah, everything is in there. And for our customer success people, being able to manage each machine, understand all the problem, having all the customer feedback centralized, being able to also optimize the revenue of the machine with discount and incentives and all that things, all
new
those
flavors.
Things. Yeah, all this like
promos.
Maintenance and tickets and like everything needs to be on the same platform, and no one did that before. So and that's I know this is a success because I've been unsuccessful with that in the past in previous businesses because we didn't have that, and we were lost into process and tools and who does what and who owns what. So I'm very excited about this. And this is really a big focus on the next product iteration.
Yeah, Amazing. One problem I'm obsessed with right now, and I think we're very close to solving it, so that's part of why I'm obsessed, is designing the attached cap.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So here you can see this is just a temporary solution. It's a single-use PET cap. It was a short-term stopgap measure to allow us to start dispensing beverages. But we've designed a new bottle. Same bottle shape with an attached cap that is very easy to open and close. Also can be washed and sanitized within the same machine. And I can't wait for that bottle to come out, because for so many years, I've had people saying, well, if I'm at a work site and there's 100 of us and 100 of us get the exact same bottle, how am I going to know it's my bottle? And so that's one of those examples as an entrepreneur of deciding, okay, yes, that's an important problem. No, I don't have the answer. And no, I don't need to solve it right now.
Yeah.
But we're getting to the point now where we have to have it solved.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm super excited about that. In terms of customer moment or piece of feedback that's stuck with you?
We need a screen. I love the screen.
I didn't want a screen.
I know.
Originally.
And I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was like, screen, not screen. I don't know.
Yep.
And people were like, this screen is so good. So let's go with the screen and the big one.
As big as possible. I remember I was like, no, we will never have a screen. And here we are with a great big screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for you?
For me, I'm kind of like agnostic to the flavor of water. When I was doing initial customer discovery work, I was shocked. People are very particular about the water that they drink.
Yeah.
I drank water from Brazil, from China, from the US, all over the US. I'm like, whatever. It's water. It's good for you. Drink it. And I've really had to come around to understand that people are very particular about their water flavor, and that's okay. And we have to meet them where they are and embrace that, not judge it.
Yep.
And what's one thing about Kadeya people still don't understand, but you wish that they did?
The reusable bottle topic.
Okay.
So some people are like, oh, but you just have a reusable bottle and a water fountain, and that's okay.
Yes.
And this is very, white collar culture. Like it's just, they don't understand how the world of beverage works.
Yep.
And it's actually only 5% of the beverage that are dispensed that way, which is basically
fewer.
Even fewer. I don't know.
1/36.
Okay. So it's really low, and people in their bubble don't necessarily understand that it's not a solution for everyone, and so that's the thing that makes me frustrated.
Yes, me too.
About why Kadeya is a great solution.
Yeah, right. They think, well, but my reusable works for me, so it should work for everybody.
Yeah.
Therefore. Yeah, that drives me nuts. The other thing that we struggle or hear a lot, there's a huge movement in climate tech and climate investing. And almost everyone is like, well, what is your carbon footprint reduction? And our carbon footprint story is amazing, right? It could have massive, like 2 to 4% reduction in carbon footprint globally.
Yeah.
But we also are addressing so many other problems. And I think the world we live in today with like metrics and ESG ratings and like simple certifications, it actually narrows or limits your ability to understand when a solution could be broadly sustainable in so many other ways.
Yeah.
And I think GHG is a great shorthand for people, but it's limiting in that people have lost the muscles to think about other problems too.
Yeah, totally agree.
All right, so that was the end of episode 2. We're excited to have you back here for the next episode. And thanks for hanging in there with us. Thanks for listening to Unbottled. If this episode got you thinking about plastic, systems change, or how we build a better future, don't just be a listener, be an owner. Kadeya is raising a community round on Wefunder, and that means you can invest as little as $100 and help us bring closed-loop beverage systems to more people in more places. Because real change doesn't happen alone, and the future of hydration needs all of us. Learn more and join our investor community at wefunder.com/Kadeya. That's Kadeya. The link is also in the show notes. Let's build it together.